Hi, everybody. It's meteorologist Joe Cioffi here on this Monday night, and I'm still on vacation, which is going quite well. I'm really enjoying myself. We will. I put up a video earlier today of where I am. It's a short video. It's under 2 minutes, and it's in the video library if you want to take a look at it. I'm in upstate New York. On the eastern shore of Lake Ontario on the Salmon River, fishing for salmon. And I went 0 for 7 yesterday. I only fished for about 3 hours this afternoon and went 0 for 3. But I got to tell you two things. One is one of the fish I had on was huge. And the other thing was that when he broke the hook came out, and it came flying, and I got actually hit in the head by the third of an ounce weight in the side of my head. And I got to tell you something, it hurt. It smacked me in the ear. Thank God I had my glasses on. So if you go fishing, make sure you wear glasses of some kind of safety, some kind of protection, because it is vital. I'm seeing that the signal is kind of on the low side. So we'll do the best we can with this, and we'll see what happens. I'm not seeing anybody on the chat board tonight. I do see that a few people have strolled in, so good evening to you. Those of you that are watching live. We're going to look at Hurricane Maria, which is continuing on its northward course. And if you look on the satellite, it really isn't all that impressive. There's a little patch of dry air that's worked in. You can see north and west of the center. That has limited the amount of thunderstorm activity that has developed near the center. Actually, it's in the eastern quadrant, about 60 to 90 miles to the east of the center, where we've been seeing some of the stronger winds. And I'm going to just check the latest advisory, because they were carrying 80 miles an hour on the prior advisory. And it looks like they are still they were up to 85 miles an hour. It looks like the pressure's 983 millibars. That's Hurricane Lee. I'm sorry, 80 miles an hour, 965 millibars. 32 north, 73 west, moving north at 7. Really, there's no change in the outlook with this. Now, the Hurricane Center did extend the tropical storm warnings a bit to the south along the Outer Banks and also to the north up into the Virginia border, but there really isn't going to be too much that's going to surprise us here with regards to Maria. It's going to move north. It's going to pass a good 150 miles to the east of the Outer Banks. But since gales go out 200 miles, you're going to see some gales along the coast. I don't know how much rain you're going to get out of this, by the way. It just really does not look like this is going to be a very big deal. More of an inconvenience than anything else. And that should just about do it. And you can even see on the enhanced satellite picture, by the way, that I know that is Alice from the Brady Bunch. I put that up yesterday. I'm going to leave it up for another day or so, and just because a few people have noticed my box format. So I thought I'd have a little nostalgic fun with it, with the Brady Bunch with the 9 boxes. Anyway, you can see on the enhanced satellite view the higher and colder cloud tops on the east side that have developed, but there isn't too much going on the west side, and you've got convection north and east. So the area to the north and east is where you're seeing some of the stronger winds, as we said, and you're looking at that motion has been pretty steadily toward the north. So pretty soon it's going to start to it's going to get a little further north than this, probably up to about 34 or 5 north, and then it's going to make that hook out to the east-northeast. I think that's a pretty that's a definite thing. There's just no room in the forecast here for any big changes. I didn't really see anything at all that would suggest that this could wind up going further north before it changes, moves over. It's all going to be it's going to pretty much follow the course, and then out to sea it goes to the Atlantic graveyard. And by the way, if you look to the east of Maria, you can see very tiny Hurricane Lee, which is weakened a little bit today. It's moving to the west-southwest, And eventually it's going to get picked up by Maria and taken out with it anyway, or absorbed by it. One way or the other, it's going to go away too. And that should put us in a bit of a break period for about a week or so as far as tropical storm activity is concerned. You can see also on the satellite that big ridge of high pressure aloft that covers all of the eastern United States and in through southeastern Canada. The clouds, that's where the jet stream is, and that's going to lower to the south, and it's going to pick Maria up and take it out to the east, and then we're going to gradually get out of the record highs that occurred today across much of New England. We had temperatures in the 80s to near 90 again around southern New England, New York City, back into eastern Pennsylvania, most of Pennsylvania, down into northern Virginia and into Maryland. But we're also getting a bit of an onshore flow that's developing, either with local sea breezes or as Maria gets a little further north and winds along the ocean are going to turn a little more easterly. That's going to hold temperatures down. And in fact, the water temperatures up around this area from southern New England down into east of New Jersey and east of Maryland and Delaware are very cool. Their water temperatures are down in the 60s and in some cases down to near 60 because of all the upwelling that has gone on for the last several weeks with all the hurricanes that have gone by either to the south, or you had Jose, which churned up the waters also. The ocean has been rough for weeks now, so the water temperatures are really cool. Here's Lee, and just to show you in terms of the how small it is, the gales with Maria extend well over 200 miles out. With Lee, the gales only extend about 30 miles out, and the hurricane force winds are only in a tight 10-mile circle. It's sort of like having I'm sorry, just hang on one second here. I just wanted to shut off the air conditioner because it's a little bit noisy. But it is hot up here in upstate New York, by the way. But you can see Lee moving that west-southwest course now at about this 30 north and almost a 51 west. So why don't we take a look at what the Hurricane Center is doing with all this, just to show you with Maria real fast. And you can see how far out the forecast track is, where the tropical storm warnings are, mainly for the Outer Banks and on up to the North Carolina-Virginia border. I doubt that they'll get extended any further north. And there'll be some weakening here with Maria as it turns. He starts to do this bend to the north-northeast and then shoots out east-northeast and northeast from there. By 2 p.m. Saturday, it's going to be well southeast of Newfoundland. So it's going to pass south of Nova Scotia, south of Newfoundland, and it will have no impact on those areas at all. So why don't we take a look. Having some technical issues, folks, with the live right now. So it looks like there's signal issues. Okay, so I apologize for the technical issues. We have signal issues here where I'm staying. So it looks like now I've got a good signal here. So we're going to look at the Atlantic view. And we'll run this forward for you so you can see what's happening. So Maria goes out. You can see Lee is actually going to be ahead of it, getting kicked out to the northeast. And then, of course, we've got a cold front that's coming down as that jet stream lowers. So there's some cooler air with that nice little high that's building in. So we're going to get a nice cool down in the eastern United States. Also, while this is all going on, pressures across the Caribbean are going to be a little lower than average. Initially, it may not produce anything, but there are probably going to be areas of showers that are going to be developing there. And as we move forward, another big high goes out with a strong onshore flow up and down the East Coast. So we're going to have to watch, I think, the Caribbean, the Southwest Gulf, and maybe even also the Southwest Atlantic east of the Florida coast. There might be an opportunity there for something to develop. Again, we're going to get a break for about a week or so, and then as we move into the latter part of the first week of October, you can see that there's some kind of development that goes on, lower pressures in the northwestern Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, and so I'm thinking something might come out of there at some point, and something may also try and come out east of the islands, and maybe even in the Southwest Caribbean. So it's kind of hard to say, which the specifics of it all at this point. But just bear that in mind that we're going to have lower than normal pressures across the Caribbean. I think the Southwest Atlantic out to about maybe 65 west, and also in the Gulf of Mexico. So something, or maybe a couple of things, may wind up coming out of this before it's all said and done. Why don't we look at the long-range pattern, the long-range upper air pattern here, and maybe that'll give us a clue as to where we're going with all this. And let me just start from the beginning, so we don't give you the ending of the story first. But here we have, that big ridge in the east, deep trough in the west. Maria lifts up, turns northeastward, and moves out. You can see how the jet stream lowers in the eastern part of the United States. You suddenly have a ridge out in the west for a change. So we have a bit of troughing in the east that moves through at the end of the week and into the weekend. Once that lifts out, little ridge pops up and another trough comes into the western part of the United States and kind of stays out in the west for a while. More of a ridge in the east. The jet stream in Canada comes down a little bit as we head toward about October 5th or so. And I think this makes sense with what's been happening, kind of seeing the upper air in transition going from summer to autumn. So you're going to start to see, deep troughs show up, and they usually do like to show up in the western part of the United States first. In fact, going into the Columbus Day weekend, looks like the GFS is back to building a big ridge in the east again. But that doesn't last for too long, and then we get more troughing. So, changeable conditions, a little more volatility in the upper pattern, nothing that screams big storms headed our way. But we're going to get rid of at least this ridge position and get to some maybe autumn air for the end of this week and into this weekend. But it'll probably, see that ridge pop up one more time. And again, the tropics getting a breather here. We are going to take a break for about a week or longer. And then I think you're going to probably start to see things rev up once again. So I think that the chat might not be working well tonight. Last I looked, there was nobody chatting, but there was, again, that problem I was having with the connection. So let me just move. I'll get Alice out of the way and get Tropical Tidbits out of the way. And I apologize also for the light. Yeah, the chat board does not seem to be working tonight. So anyway, why don't we just call it a day? This is one of the shorter videos that I've done. I'm going to be fishing tomorrow once again. So we will do another live stream tomorrow night, and we'll see what the weather pattern holds. In the meantime, you can check out the latest website posts on meteorologistjoecioffi.com. and on nycweathernow.com and weatherlongisland.com as well. And you could also download my app and subscribe to my forecast, which is just $1 a month if you're in the New York City, Long Island, New Jersey, Connecticut, Hudson Valley, or Eastern Pennsylvania area. And if you're new to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's absolutely free. And you get notifications as I do at least one live stream every day. And when storms are running around, we wind up doing 2 or 3. So I hope you enjoy my presentation. We'll get a little more complicated with the weather patterns when we start to get into the winter season and get into those winter storms, which we'll be looking and dissecting the upper air on a daily basis. And we'll keep you abreast of what is going on. And in the meantime, have a great Monday evening and a great Tuesday. See you tomorrow.